Hi, welcome back. Today we're making a really fun patch using pitch shifted delays. I think this patch has a really cool nostalgic vibe to it, so perfect for things like interludes or perhaps more sentimental songs. There's not a lot to it, but it's fun to make and fun to play, so let's get right into it. For this video I'm using my Ibanez RG652 Prestige. It's got Oil City, Blackbird, Ulfberts in it, and I'm using the neck position humbucker. I'm playing fingerstyle, but you don't have to. Let's start with the amp. We're using the USA clean model, which is becoming one of my favourite clean models on the Axe-Fx. Input drive is low, bright switch is on, a slight mid and treble boost and a slight cut in the bass. Levels pushed up to 0 and the master volume's pushed up because it's a really quiet patch otherwise. Cab wise is using the 4x12 V30. Sounds like this. That's quite a nice starting point. The main event here is this multi-delay. We're in the Plex shift mode. We want to be on about 25% mix, and I've turned the diffusion all the way down to 0. That's because when you have the diffusion up, all the pitch shifted delays are kind of smeared to give you a more like a sort of shimmer effect. What I want to hear here is the individual little pitch shifted delays. They kind of remind me of like a high pitched mallet instrument. You'll see what I mean when I start playing, but when you can hear the individual notes coming through on the pitch shifter, that's the kind of effect that we're going for. First pitch shifter is on a quarter dotted note, shifts up by 1 octave, and it's panned all the way to the left. I've got a slight detune between all of these 4 pitch shifters and they're all on 100%. Second one is a quarter note. It's only at half level and it's shifting up 19 semitones, so basically a fifth above the octave. That's panned halfway to the left and that's matched on the right hand side as well. Again, 50% volume, 19 semitones. This one here should be a dotted quarter note, but for some reason it's a quarter note. I'm going to leave that in because it sounds good as it is, but that again is an octave up, 100% level, 100% to the right. Let's hear that. How nice does that sound? I'll try and play it with a pick, see how that sounds. Just as nice, but I think fingerstyle sounds just a bit more nostalgic. Let's just hear what one note does so you can hear the way that these pitches are bouncing off each other. And a high note. That's a lot of fun to play with. Let's move on. Adding a reverb. Tunnel model at 35% mix. I've got the time down really low because I don't want this to become overwhelming. I just want this just to add a little bit more depth for those delays. I still want to hear those little delays bouncing around. I want them to be a bit ambient, but I don't want them to be part of a wash. Next I'm going to add some chorus to add a little bit of movement, and because this is quite a well affected patch, I can get away with quite a high mix level here. I'm using the 4-voice analog. I've boosted the depth up to about 75% and the mix is at 50%. One little bonus step which you can use is to make a lo-fi effect by using an EQ block, 2 blocking filters, and I've set them at 400 Hz and 2000 Hz just to let a really narrow band pass through, and this will give you more of a kind of lo-fi effect, so let's hear that. But that's just an optional thing. As you've heard, this works really nicely with things like harmonics and tapping. Let's just mess around and see what we come up with. So there's just one way you can use pitch delay to create a really cool, nostalgic, vibey little patch. You can mess around with the intervals, although I find octaves and fifths is a good starting point. But that's it for today's video. If you got some value out of it, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.